So, welcome back to has what become a yearly series at this point. I made a video about a potential update 2 years ago, tossing out a random guess for when I think the patch will drop. And then I made one a year ago after we got confirmation that an update would be soon. And we're still patchless after a little over 3 years. So I may be the worst source you can get as far as next patch goes, but you know, we stay coping. Anyway, let's start with a little recap on the whole situation going on right now. Then we can talk about the sadly few recent news we've gotten regarding the next patch. Then we can talk about the community last year in 2024 and what's going on now. You know, my whole thoughts on the situation, maybe a little of what we can do. We're basically just gonna go over everything I can think about, and you know, we got a lot to catch up on. It's been a year at this point. So go watch my previous video for a more detailed look on the situation. But to keep it simple, a year ago we were sitting on this patch that has been nearly the longest patch drought we've been on in the history of the game. People were already growing bored of the current meta and in general just wanted something new and something fresh. Then out of the blue we were hit with news of the patch. They were shooting for hopefully a Q1 release of 2024 or as soon as possible. With them posting multiple videos already of finished features, for most people a Q1 release wasn't just wishful thinking, it was pretty likely. So I made a video about it and a lot of people's hopes were up, and you know, it became kind of a growing sentiment that a lot of us were just gonna take a small break and wait for the upcoming patch. We just got off a Flash Summit, which was basically the tournament of the year, and we planned on just capping the patch off with that. We go next and see what the update has in store. But evidently we never got that update. And oh boy, that you know, kinda killed the game in 2024. And even more bad news, we didn't actually get an update about what was happening and why we were left in the dark for 3 months. So a lot of people that ended up taking a small break from the game, their breaks got extended to say the least. They were still expecting the update to drop and, you know, maybe thought they were just a little bit late. So up until June, the game was very quiet and we were just waiting for some sort of news. And mid-June, we finally did get a dev blog about the update, which we love transparency here. Better late than never. I can't imagine what we'd be going through right now if we never got that post. But anyway, it got mixed reception because, you know, it was definitely late. There was also one other reason. But first, let's just sum up what it's saying. So basically, they admit aiming for Q1 release may have been a little bit ambitious for the scale of the updating. In the original post expecting the Q1 release, they did say that the update was smaller in scale, so I'm not sure if they mean the engine changes are just that insanely time consuming, or that they decided that more was going to be added to the patch. Regardless, it was too much to get out by March due to personal issues and the fact that this is purely a passion project. They have real jobs and lives apart from this, which is completely valid and understandable. Then they mentioned that after they missed the deadline, their initial thought was just to continue to get it out as soon as possible, like they said in the original post. Which, yeah, they did say that. They specifically said, hopefully Q1 or as soon as possible. We did kind of put so much expectation on Q1, so kinda it's a little on us too. But after all the, you know, negative feedback they got from us complaining, and they kind of realized that maybe a heads up would have calmed us down a little bit. So mistakes on both ends, you know, it happened. But the next part is the sucky part. The part that kind of feels like a kick in the balls. We appreciate the patience and enthusiasm for the next update, of course. We're getting closer and closer to the goalposts, yep, And then, for the time being, we'll refrain from giving any indication of the time frame of the next release. And just like that, we're back in the dark. Now we're stuck in this patch that mentally a lot of us put behind us already, with little to no reason to come back to. The game at this point has already been at an all-time low, and not many people want to develop their play or learn a new character when things could change in a matter of a month. If the update was projected to drop 3 months ago, we could just randomly get an update as soon as next month or as late as never. I get that announcing the patch did some harm and there was a lot of snapback from the community, but backpedaling to this point that there's just no transparency again does a lot of damage too. A lot of people to this day are just waiting for the next update that may or may not be coming soon, which kind of blows to not understand if it's close or far or whatever it is. We also have zero idea why it's taking over another year. Is it the engine problems? Are they adding new stuff that wasn't originally planned? Still, is there real life concerns? Is it even being worked on? We don't know. I know that if they drop something explaining what's going on, we're still gonna have people complaining that, oh, it's still no excuse. But to us that actually care, a crumb of knowledge would be really reassuring. And lastly, it's just creating expectations that are probably not what's gonna happen. Like, people are expecting new characters, new game modes. Hell, I've even seen rollback being the engine problem that they're having. Like, a dev post every 5 months to a year about the update would be delicious. But yeah, currently there's absolutely nothing regarding an update, but I promise it's close, surely. Alright, this video isn't actually all about sadness and depression. I do have a lot of good and positive things to say about what's been going on from both the community and the devs. Okay, we'll get maybe the weakest one out. It's still not bad, but regarding tournaments, I'd say they're definitely slowly but surely on their way back. At the very least, compared to the end of last year where they were just straight up dead, it's doing better now. And recently, the SF2 Twitter account hit us with a little shout out for the tournament that happened recently, which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know there was a tournament. More of that for majors would actually be so helpful. But yeah, nothing crazy to talk about tournament wise besides people are actually entering things again. However, I really want to talk about the unregion lock tours that have been happening. I won't get into it here because that's a whole conversation, but I'm probably gonna make a video on that because oh my god, there's insane potential. There was a tournament with 125 players in Big 2025 with a 3-year-old patch. There's no way. I don't we'll talk about it another time. But what has been really cool to see is the newfound care that's back in the scene after not seeing it much in 2024 at all. We got our PR for 2024 really early this year, which I honestly didn't even know if we were gonna get one because of how people were treating 2024. But nope, we did, and all the respect towards the players who still showed up during the struggle year. Last year, the 2023 PR didn't drop till like 6 months deep into 2024, so yeah, it was bad. Shoutouts to all these people for making it happen, and especially shoutouts to Quackus for these really professional looking graphics. Really warms my heart to see. And aside from the PR, we just got a brand new official tier list, which is supposedly the last one, just to place our final thoughts on this patch so that we can look back with a little more accuracy. We actually already had one, but Ermac, who is on the SF2 team by the way, proposed that we put out a new one before the next patch drops, whatever that means. And they did it really fast too. I was gonna make this video, then go over the tier list, but they beat me to it. So yeah, I'll make a video on that next, but do you realize this was just for, you know, for fun? Like, huh? We haven't done that in so long. And speaking of for fun, Vollay the GOAT is doing a farewell to this patch community combo video. We haven't seen a community combo video in a long time, but I do know a ton of people love them and it shows off the community in a real fun way. Everyone got on board for it too. I haven't been multi-server pinged about the same topic in a hot minute. The SF2 Twitter account even made a post about it, so that's really good to see too. If you want to join it and cement a place in this patch's legacy, join the server in the description, as well as a link to Vollay's YouTube channel. They've been posting a lot recently and are helping out the community too. I mean, we can get them to like 100 subs, right? Like, come on. You know, you could also sub to me as well, but you know, who's begging? And everything I just mentioned has happened over this past month alone. This 1 month. And between talking about player rankings, tier list placings, tournaments, and now this combo video, there's been a lot going on. And I'm praying that we can keep this going into the future and eventually into the next patch where things will finally start growing again. But one final thing I gotta say is that if you're not following the SF2 Twitter account, you should probably do that if you want information regarding the upcoming patch. A lot of people never even heard the reason why they didn't drop it originally. because they just aren't keeping up with it. Check in the description for the link if you're curious. They've also been dropping these really cool dev blogs going more in depth about specific future things that, hey, I might make a video on. I want to start making videos on basically whatever I feel like at this point and have more fun with my channel. Still mostly Smash focused, but don't be surprised if you see other stuff too. We'll see how it goes. I could have gotten more in depth about stuff. I really just think I could make multiple videos about these things to, you know, respect your time. But yep, we'll see how it goes. Remember to subscribe if you want to see the tier list that's coming out next. Anyway, have a nice day and peace out.